glorious moments. All of you guys been here all weekend, sending your love to these teams. They want to hear you now. Let me hear you, Australia. This is Aerowolf and Wildcard. Both of them have made their mark on APAC Pro League history, but only one can be our champions.
Now, I can't quite hear you, Singapore. It is a pretty far distance. But everyone who is in getting the action in chat, because Aerowolf is continuing to ban Thatcher. And over here, well, you know, they have been banning Villa itself 12 times in the season. The first time we saw it was here at the APAC Finals. So what they have on Villa is extremely fearsome. And this is a complete curveball from Aerowolf, banning out the Legion. Perhaps it's a comfort pick for one of the Wildcard players?
Yeah, I mean, I like both of these bans from Wildcard.
From Aerowolf?
Sorry, I mean the first ban from
right.
Wildcard rather than Maverick. I'll touch on the Legion in a sec, but the Maverick in tandem with the Thatcher, right? Those are the things that get rid of those gadgets on the walls, that wall denial, but something else we've seen a lot from Aerowolf, the use of that Maverick to displace those positions, particularly on Aviator, you know, that spot inside of the bar in the games room. Aerowolf have made such short work of any player in that position using that Maverick. I like that counter ban from Wildcard. So despite being really preoccupied with their previous matches, Xavier and Cyclops, they're still ready to make some serious counter bans against Aerowolf. On the flip side, talking about that Thatcher ban, that Legion ban, I feel like maybe that's to help with the Montaigne. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
You ban out the Legion, the Monty doesn't have to play as timidly, and the main thing you're going to be worrying about is A, crossfires, which are fairly easy to figure out, 2, the Echo, and 3, the Smoke. And other than that, the Monty's pretty much got free reign. They're going to bring it out right at the start. They're not going to let this slip anywhere. It's not going to be a fallback tactic. Aerowolf right out of the gate will see the best Montaigne that APAC has to offer.
Well, they'll be going up against a clash from Diesel right away, so that is going to be very, very helpful as well. Now, because it is a Montagne, you can't drop shield and melee the clash so easily. She'll just use her CCE ability and shock you back slower than you already are as a Montagne.
Do you reckon this clash pick is actually a
Yes.
counter to
Yes.
the Monty?
Exactly. They saw the Legion ban and they're like, well, here we
That's
go.
exactly it. Wildcard see that Legion ban and think, okay, Aerowolf want to play that Monty. Well, Legion's banned. We can use Smoke and Echo, but actually the Clash is even harder of a counter. I'm really curious to see how Aerowolf deal with this, because Clash isn't actually an operator that they would have a lot of practice against necessarily. Not many teams really like to experiment with Clash. So if Aerowolf aren't used to playing a Monty versus a Clash, this could certainly help give Wildcard a head start on the defense.
Now, one thing that is going to help Wildcard really, really greatly is the fact that they have a second coach and he's sitting at home. He's been able to watch all of these matches, and surely he has been communicating with the team in between their series that they've played today. And surely he has given some insights on Aerowolf because he also likes these players and was watching their matches. So that is probably why Wildcard has turned up so big in map number 2, and they might just give us a crazy, crazy good fight here on Villa as well. Now, it is a trophy statutory defense to start off with. It's not something you have seen this weekend so far. Imorin on the solo roam below, that is going to be something that they need to target for the Monty to stay alive.
Oh.
But, well, Diesel has been dealt with.
That's a nice early pick. Probably the best one Aerowolf could have asked for, dealing with that Clash we talked about. The perfect counter to that Montaigne to slow him down, deal that tick damage away, but nope, Diesel's off the board. It was a nice idea, but he hasn't been able to use it effectively at all. Ethan now on this deep roam downstairs. He'll try to gather as much information as he can on the rest of these players. He spots out Hysterics. I believe also Imorin was roaming with the Ella. So only the 2 players on site for Wildcard, as Aerowolf have taken a lot of map control. What's going to be pivotal in this round is if Wildcard can execute a successful flank.
Indeed. Now, Derpe, he has been... Oh, no! The jump out! Once again, Aerowolf punished the aggression. They did it to Norengo. They're doing it to Wildcard now. And Neophyter losing his life just peaks the absolute wrong way. Again, it was Aerowolf playing on the left-hand side. And that wins it out for them. Not sure what the Jackal is doing because this Pulse has just been allowed to just walk all on his own. maybe Mentalist is going to see the footsteps of Emorin, perhaps.
Mental is going for this hunt downstairs onto these players. As you said, there will be footsteps. He could scan, but elsewhere it's an execute onto the side. Monty is in, as is another. Derpair does find the one. That's the Hibana player. Sophia goes for the peek. Ethan can find two on the flank. He's the last one left. Now that Emorin's gone down 1 versus 2, but he does have his C4 still in tow. Not a great weapon in this scenario, but what's so key here is that he gets this plant denied, because if he's in a 1 versus 2 with the Monty still up, that is not going to work out. Speakeasy gets off that plant, and now he'll have to stick it. Ethan, the only one covering this planter, is the Montaigne. He might be able to spot it. Is he going to get the C4 to reach? No, it doesn't. Now he has nothing to make this happen against the Montaigne. Surely, even if he gets the kill on the Speakeasy, he can't make this work.
This is well and truly over. It's Luna Metal on the Montaigne. We've seen him in the highlights that have been playing. He can do it in a 1v2. It's not a problem if it's a 2v1 in his favor. Speakeasy puts the cap in on Ethan, but what a great comeback attempt that was from him. Mental is really dropping the ball on that. He was the Jackal. He should have been dealing with that Roma. He couldn't, lost his life, and 2 others as well.
Very close round for Wildcard. If that's a taste of what this rest of this map will be, then I'm sure we're in for a treat. Aerowolf still sticking that Montaigne. Even when the plan doesn't go as they intend, that Monty always helps Aerowolf figure out something on the fly. Luna Metal is so good. As soon as he's in a position where he has information and it's his job to relay that to the rest of the team and make these calls, that's where Luna Metal thrives. I know so few players who work as well in that kind of a role on Monty as Luna Metal does.
It's almost second nature for him to play Montaigne now, and because of that, when you're a player and you're an IGL, there's a lot of things that you have to do. You have to think about your own well-being as well as 4 of your teammates, and you have to know exactly where they are, what they're doing, what you want them to do next, what you want to do next. But when you're the Montaigne, a lot of that pressure is taken away from you, because as long as you don't get cross-fired, as long as you don't get backstabbed, you're going to be just fine from the front. So on LAN as well, that allows you to look at your friends' screens, your teammates' screens, look at it left and right, and then you can get a sense of what everyone is doing. And that makes it very, very easy for a player such as Luna Metal to play Montaigne and IGL at the same time.
Wildcard did try out that statuary trophy side defense first up, and Aerowolf, it was a really good roam clear. It looks like they'll utilize the same mentality of strategy here by going for a roam clear, taking the north side of the map this time, and then push towards the bomb site. It's a great strategy to use when you have that Monty. Monty is such a good roam clearing operator. Get so much information, relay that to your teammates, and keep that pressure onto the defenders. In tandem with the Jackal, Aerowolf should have so much information onto where these Wildcard players are located. Now, Wildcard, up until now, almost exclusively, their attacks were onto this study side. When we saw them play Villa against Fnatic and Norengo previously, it was always a study push, and now they've changed things up. If Wildcard are predicting Aerowolf to go for that south side push, then they should be surprised at what they're seeing right now.
Now Hysterics is going to try and put some pressure onto Neofighter, but Neofighter is the equal despite getting Jackal pinged. He's just going to go back to his bomb site, just hold the window, nothing much more that can be done. But this time, Mentalist, what can he do? He's going to check the basement, so finally, he does learn his lessons, actually instantly, not finally. And he's going to scan the bandit yet again. Neofighter must be a little bit annoyed, but it's good for Wildcard as a whole, because they have not found any other roamers. And Luna Metal, he gets hit by what? It's an impact, perhaps? Hysterics bringing the Claymore is going to make this wall opening so hard, this window.
Yeah, just going to smack that castle barricade as much as possible. Does give Wildcard some notice that the window was being open, and now Luna Metal pushing up aggressively. He gets that control of the 90 hallway. Wildcard doing what they can to try to disrupt that Monty push. Likely we'll see the Yokai drone used. to try to counter this Monty. There you go. And I believe one shot, no, I don't think a single shot was landed onto Lunametal's feet. Trying to deal as much damage as they can to this Monty, but the worry is here, if Wildcard get a little bit too focused on that Monty elsewhere, things can step up. Aerowolf do find one kill, but there's a good refrag from Neofighter, an aggressive peek from Hysterics, and that study control as well. Everything's working out for Aerowolf now. Just the one player left against 4. It's poor Diesel, he can find one, but there's so much more to do, and that Montaigne is still up as well.
He can't let this diffuser get planted. If he lets it get planted, it is an auto win for Aerowolf, really, with the Montagne still up there. And that is it. That's really it. You can't do anything. Diesel, he can get some exit frags onto Mentalist. He's going to struggle with that as well. The shotgun comes out, and he can't do that. All he can do is down that young man from Singapore. And look at that. The Montagne is working out so brilliantly. Perhaps Wildcard needs to start slowing things down, bring more trap operators, make this Montagne as frustrated as they can make him, and play more disciplined, crossfire, C4s, information. Something has to change, because if they let this continue on, they're just going to roll them over on the attack. Villa, by the way, defender-sided.
I just find it hilarious that everyone knows Aerowolf are so good with Montaigne. So sometimes they ban him, sometimes they think, oh no, we really need to ban something else, in this case Maverick, because Aerowolf are so damn good with Maverick. All right, we need to ban Maverick, so we'll leave the Monty in, we'll just find a way to counter it. Despite the fact that Aerowolf are so good with the Monty and everyone tries to figure out ways to counter it, it's still so successful the majority of the time. We did see one great round from Wildcard on Bank, where they fully countered that Monty, mainly due to that smoke grenade. But we just don't see any level of consistency. Aerowolf are so good with this Monty, and Luna will continue to hit that note home right until the end of their half.
Villa is not that kind of map like Bank, especially those spiral stairs, that allows itself to a structure where you can freeze out the Montagne that way. So that is great news for Aerowolf. The question is, what can Wildcard do about it, as you said? So they're still not opting for those trap operators, and your prediction for, you know, the Legion being banned as a way to make this Montagne a lot easier, it's 100% on the money. The allies coming out from Neofighter this time around, those are perhaps, that is Wildcard's attempt to answer this aggression.
The Wildcard now changing up that bomb site once again. First up, they tried Statry, and then they went over to Aviator. Now they'll head downstairs, try 3 different bomb sites, keeping it interesting at the very least. Will have to change their strategies, but it's pretty simple for them. They're doing a really basic strat every single round. It's, okay, let's just start in one area of the map, typically the opposite side of the map. Start to move on, clear the entire map, and then get to the bomb site. We know we've cleared out the roamers, and then we start to execute. We have that Monty to start really pressuring Wildcard's players. The Aerowolf, as they drone out that top floor, they will reach these Wildcard players on this north side, but they do find that first kill at Speakeasy, a good one, pushing in from the south. He may find a second as well. 2 good kills for Speakeasy. That may well be the top floor cleared now. Wildcard under the pump, have presence on site and roaming downstairs, getting information as much as they can, but Aerowolf have such a distinct numbers advantage.
Now, if Ethan can do the damage like he did in the first round, that could help out significantly, especially if Lunametal is taken away. It's going to give them a lot of faith taking the Montagne away. The mental game cannot be overstated, because that's really what wins and loses.
Oh, no.
Well, don't know what Ysera is doing. There's a Montagne. Use him against a shotgun. This is exactly where you see the shotgun come out from every single team. Not worked out, and Montagne, I guess, is still roam clearing upstairs, but use your drone games, guys. Clear out the second floor and then push on to the first floor. They have time, though, so perhaps it was just Ysera just jumping the gun.
Not sure what the idea was there, but aggressive play from Diesel. That's an essential kill. He takes down the Montaigne. That could mean everything for him. Holding this tight angle, is Aerowolf going to be aware? Mentalist wants to go for this peek, but Diesel's good for that one too. He's completely opened up the round now for Wildcard. 2-on-2, but he has control of the diffuser. They know where he is, and he may well just get away alive. He was never meant to make that happen, and now he does get taken out. Dirtbear, the last man standing, and Aerowolf have regained that diffuser. Dirtbear can get information from his pulse scanner, but he does have to retake this objective. He needs to turn this into 2 1 versus 1. He spots out that first player and he can get that kill. A 1 versus 1. Hysterics gets off the plants.
What?
And no, that means that Derpin now, he can go downstairs. He can play more passively. Derpin now goes upstairs. Surely he has information. Hysterics has no choice but to stick this plant. He does so. Hysterics has been on fire, but he's just 1 bullet away from death. Derpin needs to make this work. He's going to use his scanner, and no!
What a
That
clutch.
was an essential mistake, and Hysterics makes it happen. Aerowolf come back from the dead.
I can't believe Hysterics did it. I thought Derpy had that. I was about to say that this is that little sliver of opportunity you have. When you're playing against a Pulse, it's so tempting as a Pulse to pull out that scanner and scan your final opponent. But where Derpy did it is what lost him the round. This small window of opportunity when the scanner comes out, that's when you have to pounce. And Hysterics, he was definitely up to the task. Great mental awareness to peek out. The funny thing is, they had perfect information on Hysterics all the way until the location of his plant.
Real shame there for Derpin. Not the right call to whip out the pulse scanner, and also moving as well. He exposed himself to so many angles, and using that pulse scanner does make a lot of noise as well. Aerowolf do steal that round away. Thought that Diesel had shut it down, but no. Aerowolf recompose. Now, Wildcard head back to that first bomb site they attempted unsuccessfully at Statuary. They've had 3 unsuccessful defenses on 3 different bomb sites. They haven't been able to stem the bleeding here against Aerowolf. Diesel needs to step up and make things happen with the clash to prevent that Monty from gaining that ground. Aerowolf, every single time, they're doing the same thing. Starting on the other side of the map. Going for this full roam clear. Making everything, sorry, pardon me, covering the entire map. And getting that map control, moving in from there.
So now, Diesel really, as you said, he needs to make this happen. Last time Aerowolf attacked this, they were able to deal with him effectively. But they really need to survive. They need to keep Diesel alive, Wildcard. If they do that, I think this is a round-winning condition for them. Because the Montagne, as I said earlier on, what can he really do against the Clash? And it's not a kill shot onto the Monty, of course. But what it is, it's going to allow the rest of Wildcard to turn around, swarm that Montagne. And let's be honest, Montagne is not an unkillable operator. As annoying as he might be, and he's really not one of my favorites, I think that they need to do something about him, about how well he operates in team compositions such as Aerowolf's. But, you know,
and if he was so good, everyone would use him. Aerowolf just have it down pat. They absolutely know how to make it work for him. Wildcard, they have brought out this clash as an attempt to stem that, but it's a C4 that makes the difference onto Luna Metal. And that's already the Monty taken out. What an essential play, and now it's all working for Aerowolf, Wildcard rather, a second kill onto the Aerowolf players, putting Aerowolf on the back foot. No more Montaigne, no more Speakeasy, one of their best fraggers. Now Wildcard can hold tight and wait for Aerowolf to make the next mistake.
Absolutely beautiful stuff from Wildcard coming out here in this round. I am amazed. It's really good to see. Mentalist is going to try and fight this. Emorin goes down, but this Astro hold from Derpy, you know, he just has to stay patient. Oh, he's actually going to go aggressive. He's going to lose the fight. Why would you do that, Derpy? He was just getting pushed from 2 angles. He got way too antsy. There were no frag grenades, nothing that could have forced him out. Neofighter, though, he's going to take down Hysterics, and Mentalist, he's got the call that someone's on the roam, someone's on the flank.
It's 2 kills for Aerowolf. Have gotten them back in the game, but Neofighter downstairs takes down Mental, all up to Ysera now, and he's low on HP. He does have that 1 kill taken for himself. These air jabs could well mean the death of Diesel. He also has 2 stun grenades he can utilize, but a good hold of the angle from Wildcard. And they finally have their first round on the board.
Almost inch perfect from Wildcard over there. Well, not quite sure what happened with Derpy, really, but aside from that, as a team, they worked so extremely well. Diesel's coverage onto Ysera was great. And, you know, when you're a Clash, you gotta work well with your teammates. How Aerowolf did it against Fnatic was use the Clash like a Montagne, push up the other defenders right behind her. And that's exactly what Wildcard have done as well. And that is really, really important. Otherwise, you can just go up to the Clash, melee her concussor, and take her down easy as pie.
So now we had 3 straight rounds from Aerowolf, and finally Wildcard have broken that curse. They do get 1 on the board, and they take this tactical timeout. They can talk to Silex, their coach standing behind them, discuss their situation. It's mostly Diesel and Ethan sitting there in the middle together that discuss what they think they need to do to make this next step happen. What is it that Wildcard can do? In this situation, they're down 3 rounds. Aerowolf's Montaigne play, their methodical roam clear. There's been no answer from Wildcard. They've tried roaming more aggressively. One thing they haven't tried is hard holding the opposite side of the map. Say they're doing an aviator defense, trying to hard hold onto Statuary. Maybe we'll start to see some of these more unconventional strategies brought out by Wildcard to counter these pushes from Aero.
I think one of the main point of discussions would be, one of the main points of discussion would have been, should Diesel continue on Clash? Is that something that we really need to fight this Montaigne push off? Or should we put him on what he works best with, which is the smoke?
Yeah, he was only playing that Clash on the Statuary bomb site, however, so maybe now it's on a different bomb site. They've decided to get rid of that one. It looks like Wildcard, their way of trying to counter this Monty is primarily these C4s, and it worked great last round where they got that kill. In fact, last 2 rounds, they've killed the Montaigne with a C4. Now, they brought the Pulse, so that vertical play can work so well. It's an essential component of this map. All of Villa has a lot of wooden destructible floors. That Pulse and the C4s of all of the operators that Wildcard have brought with C4s, potentially 3 if Neophyte have brought the C4. There you go. Likely 3 C4s on the board for Wildcard. Can be utilized to take down that Montaigne. But anyhow, we'll move on to this aviator bomb site. It's a heavy roam to start with. Ethan loves roaming on this bomb site, loves attempting vertical play. We just need to make sure that the rest of Wildcard can hold on to the objective for as long as possible to enable those roamers enough time to have an impact.
Wildcard are definitely going to be successful if Aerowolf tries to ignore their roamers. And one of the chief architects of this roam clear will be Mentalist. He's now rappelling upside down on the window. It's a very aggressive position for a Jackal to be taking this early into the round. Of course, he can frag really well. We've seen players like Joystick just shred entire teams with it, like they were playing TH, but that's what you need to do. Luna Metal, we've talked to him up as a Montaigne, but that is a rookie mistake, just leaping into a crossfire. Now Derpe, what can he do? He's gonna just lose his life, in fact. Unfortunate for him, but Emorin trades back onto Mentalist. Diesel takes down 1, Neophyte 1 more, and this is all turned on its head. Hysteric's the only member alive in Wildcard. Surely they're gonna make these 2 rounds.
Perfect job from Wildcard. As soon as Aerowolf started to stack players and take out that Derpe on the top of the stairs, Wildcard all push for that refrag. Now it's all on Hysterics. And he's waiting, he's baiting for these kills.
Wildcard, why would they give it to them? Maybe they'll give 1, but, there's no other reason to do it. Hysterics, might as well use this as a quasi-tactical timeout. Now, Villa is, as we said, somewhat defender-sided, so not too bad if Wildcard pegged this one back to 3-3. It's certainly looking that way because Wildcard have suddenly come alive over here. And it's really good to see because Norarengo, mind you, could only scrape together 2 rounds here on Villa. If Wildcard can do them a few better, maybe even win the map outright, that's going to give a real statement of intent to show that upper bracket may have been harder based on historical results, but things have changed. We are here on the scene as well.
Like Hysterics has decided it's about time to frag out. See how many exit frags he can take with him. There's a chance he can clutch this round, but it's very slim, especially with that smoke, and he decides to sprint on through it. Diesel close the deal with the shotty. Wildcard now getting 1 step closer to ending the half at an equilibrium. Nice job there, especially met with the adversity of that Montaigne. They got to put it down to bit of a mistake from Luna Metal jumping in that study window, and a great capitalization from Neophyte right on the ball to take him down. Everything from there on pretty well for Wildcard. We did see a nice counter of Derpe's position, but it looks like Aerowolf, they're too tunnel visioned right now.
I don't think the Montagna is working anymore. They probably need to swap him off. Is it going to be a 6th pick? Well, let's see. As you said, Lunar Metal, he's been denied by the C4 2 rounds in the 3rd round. Just poor positioning from him. There we go. It is a 6th pick. Dokebi being brought by Lunar Metal. Now we saw this against Fnatic. And of course, one thing I want to broach the topic on is how much do we really want this first seed? How much does it really matter? Because the international opposition that both these teams will be facing, it's insanely tough. Whoever they do face, whether it's first seed or second seed, does this really matter for both teams?
It's a good question. I think that the title of APAC champion is really what these teams have their sights set on right now. Of course, these first seed versus second seed placements will help you a lot. First seed means that you won't be facing against Dark Zero, Na'Vi, or Ninjas in Pajamas. You will be facing either Giants Gaming, Team Reciprocity, or FaZe Clan. So, I mean, take your pick. I think that there's some very strong teams on both the first and second seeds of each region. No one can be counted out very easily. Perhaps you might actually prefer to play a team like FaZe Clan or Giants Gaming, who are more known quantities, rather than a team like NIP or a team like Na'Vi, who have been on this upwards trajectory recently and surprising everybody.
And all those teams, they have so much history, so many support staff that can read into all these strategies that are being shown right now by both these teams. So, you know, really, maybe it's time for both of them to take a step back and think about the bigger picture, play the longer con.
Maybe. This is Map3 after a fantastic and tiring weekend for these teams, all flying into Sydney for this event. No doubt they're going to go the full distance. They have no intentions of letting up any time soon. They're very close to an even half here. If Aerowolf can break away, they'll be very set when they switch onto their defensive half. But good impact grenades from Wildcard do counter that Hibana pellets from the Ysera. Now it is a trade. One player on each team taken out, Ysterix and Diesel.
Big pick on either side. Diesel is fantastic for Wildcard Gaming. Honestly, I would say one of the best players so far this weekend for them, making so many things happen, even behind the scene. Now, Imorin, well, he's going to take 2.
It's super aggressive now from Aerowolf, but Wildcard are finding so many picks based off of this. Derp does detonate a C4 to find nothing. 2 players left from Aero. Derp needs to find this information, relay it to the rest of the team. Speakeasy and Mentalist, last ones left. Neophyte are going to get revived on the bomb site. Both of the attackers upstairs, they do have some utility they could use to open up the floor, start focusing on some of these players on site, but with such a numbers disadvantage, that vertical play is such a very difficult strategy to engage. So many crossfires set up by Wildcard too. This is a big ask for Speakeasy and Mentalist.
Yeah, it's very, very tough. Wildcard are playing this very, very disciplined. Not to say that Aerowolf's opponents previously haven't been disciplined, but they have conceded a number of these 2v4s, 2v5s against them, and I believe the last round, the Fnatic versus Aerowolf was a 2v5. So Wildcard, they're gonna get so aggressive, and that is a free kill for Mentalist. Or rather, not free, he really had to bring his sights up very, very quickly. Smokes are gonna come out. Speakeasy's all the way on the other side. He's gonna take down Neophyte actually, but he's gonna get down himself. Good information being fed, but mentally he doesn't know. He's gonna go frag chasing for this Echo. He's gonna find him. Can he find this other player? The Smoke is gonna obscure it. He's going frags. He's right next to you. But Wildcard, hold on. This is going to be 3-3.
Too close for comfort. My heart can't handle this. Wildcard let it slip far too much, even in that 2 versus 4 from Aerowolf. However, we do end that half even, as you said. Now, no more Montaigne. Can you get on the defense? Aerowolf, well, you can get a clash, yeah? Aerowolf are going to head over to that defensive side. We know, we talked about before, how Villa can tend to favor those defensive sides. Things do change, though. Every match is a shake-up. Right now, Wildcard, they're the ones who'll have to take the initiative. The aggression that they've been demonstrating in this best of 3 so far, and the aggressive teams that they've been facing so far in this tournament, Xavier and Cyclops, take a leaf out of their book, take some initiative, and get some attacks done right. No Maverick and no Thatcher means that a lot of this utility from Aerowolf will be difficult to contest. Let's have a look at how Wildcard deal with it.
Now Lunamental going to play that Pulse, as he has really been playing a lot this weekend as an IGL. It's great to have all the information. I think we saw Ethan also playing a fair bit of Pulse on a Wildcard, which means that both these in-game leaders, these captains, they like to have as much information as they can because they are the best people who can act on this information, tell the team to rotate, make the calls. And, you know, we saw an excellent call initially in the first round, I think, of Bank, really, for defense for Wildcard, where they rotated to fight the Montani, and that worked out beautifully. The question is, can Aerowolf do it just as well here on their first defensive round? Nothing like a Montani going to be coming out from Wildcard, however, but it's still a fearsome lineup. You have the Nomad to deny any aggression that Aerowolf might want. Speakeasy might be curtailed on his roam due to it. Emorin on the sledge, well, really put Emorin on any operator and he'll be getting the kills.
Emo's a bit like that, isn't he? Now let's have a look. This attack from Aerowolf, Wildcard. Aerowolf did tend to try to go for map control every single round, and it looks like Wildcard will be taking a leaf out of that book. It is an aviator defense, but we do see Wildcard attempting to put pressure on the Statuary side. Mute Jammers as well make this a little bit harder for Wildcard to gain the info, but they gain the advantage anyway, taking down Ysera, the Mute player. Now just 4 left on Aero, and they decide to fall back. They've wasted just 1 minute, not a ton of time, but they did lose that player. They don't want to lose anymore as they retreat back onwards. Wildcard, next step, they have to drone. They have to take control of 90 and prepare for their execute.
Now, one thing I am surprised to see Aerowolf do is default so early and so easily. I'm not too sure what they have planned for the on-site presence, but something I saw in Southeast Asia from another team was to hold the other bomb site on the second floor. So like if you're defending Statuary, you hold AVG, and then over there you bring a Mute plus another Jaeger perhaps, and that combo actually works a lot better than you think. And it's a very sound strategy. Speakeasy is going to take on Neo Fighter, though, finally trading it out, but he's immediately traded out by Emorin. And now Lunamental with his Pulse Shotgun, what can he really do?
3 on 4 for Aero now, but it is Wildcard who have to make the next step. Derper looking to be the lone man, pushing the study side. Nomad's a great operator for this position. He can cut off so many rotations from the defenders. Lunamental's gathering a lot of information onto this push as well. Wildcard have to take the next step. They're going to try to open that 90 hallway. That wall into Vault. Looks like they've got a player repelling on the window and another one inside that hallway. Lunamental has all this information. They'll try to open up this wall. Emorin throws a grenade over the top, but it doesn't find anything. Lunamental also throws a C4 right back. It finds Nord as well. About 40 seconds left, and Wildcard, they're starting to prepare for this execute.
30 seconds left to go, though. This is where teams usually try to execute, but they don't get the plant off. Either they win on kills or they lose on time. And now Ethan on the window, he's still there. They're going to have to fight a Maestro over here. My bad. And now he's going to get very, very aggressive. Can he do something? The doorways are still being held by him.
4 players left for Wildcard. They have the numbers advantage, but they have to move in. Luna finds the first with the shotty. Hysteric's holding the passive angle, nets him 2 kills. 1 left for Wildcard. Ethan, where are you? He knows there's no chance, and Aerowolf take their first defense.
Meleeing the Vast in frustration. Wildcard, they had a very good idea of what to do with the roam clear, but the side presence from Aerowolf was just so strong. Now we saw the similar thing happen against Norarengo as well. And talking about Norarengo, what you saw from them, the strategies, the players, everything from Aerowolf, it is exactly the same. So they are taking this seriously, as are Wildcard Gaming. So, you know, we talked about things not being taken seriously. Do you want first seed or do you want second? Well, they clearly wanted both these teams.
There's no reason why you wouldn't put in your all right here in APAC Finals to get the championship. Both of these teams have everything to fight for right now. They've gone past what they could have possibly imagined would be the result of this tournament. No one would have thought, at least these teams, that they would be making it to the grand final and punching tickets not only to the Pro League finals, but 6 Invitational. I'm still digesting that. Aerowolf and Wildcard both will be attending those events, but one of them still has to be our APAC champion to go down in the history books to make it that first seed in Tokoname. And it's absolutely down to the wire. A tight third map between these two teams, only one round separating them. Currently, Aerowolf are in that lead, but we've seen some fantastic things from Wildcard. It's their turn to warm up on the attack.
Now Lunamel on the Maestro. So I've talked about this a few times, but I don't think I've talked about it too much this event. The hallmark of great teams really is the fact that they can tailor each of their players to specific bomb sites rather than set roles. So each player can play any role that they want, but it all depends on which bomb site, what kind of play they need, what kind of operator lineup they need. Hysterix is now on the Pulse, so this is a bit of a switch up, but Aerowolf are one team that can definitely do it. And talking about their players, Speakeasy, he was so quiet on Clubhouse. Right now, he was leading the charts here on Villa.
Yeah, Neophyter thought he could get a cheeky kill onto Hysterix there. He spotted out the Pulse using his scanner from the IQ. But as they pushed in, they didn't find it in the end. Interesting usage of this reinforcement downstairs to prevent the rotation cutoff. There is a C4 from Hysterix, but it doesn't find anything. Imarin's on the hunt now. Surely that Pulse will be feeling the pressure, but Imarin decides to force his way out of there. Allow that Aerowolf roamer to continue, as the objective is inside of Statuary and Trophy. Wildcard need to focus on that side. Bring that Nomad over to the master bedroom side. Utilize those air jabs, no doubt above these master bedroom doorways. Prevent anyone from getting a flank in through the master bedroom. It's what's so essential here on this bomb site. You need to prevent that aggression, curb the defenders, flush out these roamers and start and execute onto the bomb site.
The way that Aerowolf are using the basement right now, we don't see that at all in any region from any team. The Villa basement, a lot of pros had said just remove it because it's not really used by defenders, and when it is used, it can be really, really potent. Wildcard right now, they don't really know what's going on. They are trying to find the players. They're not really successful in finding them, whether on drones or with the picks. Imorin, well, he went away, but Hysterix is going to take one down, and Neophyter with the LMG is going to get punchy together. Ysera on the Jaeger. The drone was on him the whole time. Surprised that Neo couldn't land the shots, and Ysera is going to come back for more. He's going to take down the Astronomy player, just downing him though.
Yeah, and there is that really good refrag from Ysera. Takes a lot of damage. You need to drone this, mate. Mentalist is allowed another kill here, and just 2 left for Wildcard. Emo does finish off Luna Metal, and now he's pushing up the Astro stairs. He's the last one left, but there's none that can be done for Wildcard. Aerowolf now up 2 rounds, and they're 2 rounds away from an APAC championship.
I don't understand what it is about Mentalist C and that position, whether he just like harnesses the power of Vigil through the cloud or something, with, you know, the jammers being kind of similar, but how does he go undroned by Norango and then here again by Wildcard?
Here's what I want to talk about. Let's say that they do it. Let's say they get across the line. Aerowolf, the APAC champions for Season 10. Once upon a time, Aerowolf did hold that crown of the best team in APAC. And that was before Pro League even existed in our region. Way back, we've talked about that 2017 Invitational. They played, they earned their spot there through that qualifier to get that spot at the 6th Invitational of 2017. They were the best team in APAC once upon a time. Now, that's a fairy tale story that we told many years ago. And now, we may have gone full circle. Aerowolf returning to that former glory every single event. We're expecting something surely. They haven't peaked yet, have they? Well, they're certainly peaking right now.
Well, they're peaking everything, it seems, really. But yeah,
I see what you did there.
But at the Invitational, yeah, just harkening back to a time bygone. It was against Era Eternity, the eventual grand finalists that they went up against. They took Clubhouse, the old Clubhouse, off them on the backs of, you guessed it, Montagne play.
Yeah, this has been a staple for a very long time for Luna Metal, but let's talk about defense now. You mentioned how Vigil, earlier, you mentioned, ironically, that Mentalist was harnessing that power through the cloud. Now Ysera has Vigil. This default camera, man, come on. this is a rookie mistake from Wildcard. No one getting that default cam, and it means so much here. There are so many things to think about in the Pro League, and sometimes oversights like that can mean a loss. Ethan taken out. He would have definitely been visible on that default cam. Mentalist can find a second with the C4. Aerowolf, looks like your match point's not far away. It's a 5 versus 3 Wildcard, 40 seconds into the round, and they don't have a damn thing going for them.
Just default cams, guys! What are you doing? You're the APAC first or second seed, and you're missing out rookie mistakes. Like, just come on. And the fact that Aerowolf have been doing that, you know, Hysterics, he's been missing all his C4s, whether he was on this map or the other two. He's just not had luck, but Mentalist, he sends it out, it rings true immediately, and they seem to have stepped it up a gear on defense right now.
Wildcard now shifting gears, playing very slowly. They may get a kill here on the Speakeasy. A C4 could seal the deal, and it does. Another one, Dirt Bear off the board, no one nearby. There is an attempted refrag. Imorin does finally get it, but he takes a lot of damage in the meanwhile. He gets another one, Emo, bringing this back closer to even, but he still is so very low on health, and he has 3 players to find. Diesel will try and help him out, but his position will be revealed as well. Trying to push into this bomb site. What information does he have? Plenty of utility, but he's being scanned out by Lunar Metal. Spots him go downstairs. Now Aerowolf know they don't have to worry about that doorway any longer. Wildcard surely need to regroup. They have 2 players left with a minute to go.
Imorin just needs to get hit by a tickle and he will go down. Diesel, though, he's on full HP. He needs to fight this player right above the hatch. I think it is Ysera. Yes, it is. The outline is pretty clear, and Ysera, he's going to get that fight. The diffuser is dropped as well. And with 45 seconds, Imorin, he can't do anything, can't even withstand. And Aerowolf on match point, series point, APAC point.
This could be the final rounds of the APAC Pro League for Season 10. Both of these teams have a serious task ahead of them when they head overseas, but for now, it's the APAC Championship that is at hand, and it looks like Aerowolf are about to seal the deal. Wildcard have had a revenge tour so far, chewed through Xavier, tossed aside Cyclops, but they've hit the brick wall called Aerowolf right now. We've been talking about them season after season. They've beaten the best team in APAC, the other best team in APAC. Now they come up against Wildcard, and it doesn't look like they're going to be too hard-pressed to find Villa as well. We're getting so close, and I don't know what is they're possible to do for Wildcard to get back into the game, because we've seen bigger comebacks than this. We saw Wildcard have a comeback 6-3 against Cyclops to win 5 straight rounds and win the entire series against Cyclops earlier today. It's been a long day for the Aussies. What can they do to get back in the game here against Aero?
Now, Imorin, he's been stepping up well enough for his team, but he only broke double digits in the previous round. They have been coming up against a brick wall, you're right, and one of those bricks is Speakeasy, or rather few of those bricks really, given how much he's been helping out his team in terms of fragging. On this Jaeger from the very start, when I first saw him in the Pro League, I noted that, well, these two guys really, Imorin and Speakeasy, these two guys are something special. And I was just starting out my casting career back then in the ANZ Cup. Imorin, I said, well, this guy is going to go far, and, well, far enough, he is going all the way to Montreal.
Still, there's a lot of work ahead of him in this round. 2 minutes and 40, and we could have crowned our champions here. Aerowolf defending Aviator Games Room. We haven't seen Wildcard win an attack round yet. What can they do to change that here, Shakar?
If ever they needed to gather their wits about them, it was now. Well, really, it was against CAG, and they did, but now would be a pretty good time as well. New Fighter, he used his sixth pick to go from the IQ to the Ash. Clearly, things weren't really working out for them. They were still not able to deal with the Pulse. And perhaps that's one thing they need to deal with. The last time they attacked the bomb site over here, they did get the numbers advantage in the roam clear, but they just couldn't fight that very, very strong hold over here, because there was a Maestro in Hysterics. He played that almost inch perfect back then. Can he do it again? Can Wildcard do something about this? They can't get too aggressive on 90. This is where Aerowolf has loved contesting. Whether it's on attack or in defense, we've seen some amazing things from them here. Flashbang, ineffectual. The other one goes too far. They try to clear 90, in fact, but there's actually no one there, I think, from Aerowolf.
Indeed, Aerowolf are not holding that 90 hallway. They are contesting a lot of angles aggressively, though. Ethan's taken a heck of a damage downstairs through the floor. Aerowolf holding. They have the ult already. A lot of information. Lunametal wants to find it. He gets one with the shotgun. Another one for Ysera now. Wildcard only have 3 players left to salvage this map, this series, and their hopes of being the APAC champions. They finally get that first one kill. Back on the rebounds.
Now he's going to push up the main stairs and get very aggressive against this Pulse. He's going to see him again. And very wisely, Imorin backs off. You need to know your limits, and even though you are Imorin, you can't do everything. Certainly not against the Hysterics and Lunametal, who are holding this so perfectly. Now they need to be aware of Diesel, who's looking to make an entry over on the other side. He's just waiting at the door, waiting for calls, but it's 30 seconds. What can they really do? There's not much time.
Wildcard doing everything they can, get this information. Derpez on the other side of the map. He needs to come for this flank because he can dislodge Ysera right here. Diesel makes his entry, reveals his position. Imorin finds one, Derpe as well. It's suddenly doable. It's a 3v1. What can Lunametal do to salvage this? He finds the first kill, but he needs to deny the plant. He doesn't have his C4 remaining. Rotating now with the pistol. He has to find these 2 kills, and that diffuser goes down. Can he find this kill? No, he can't land enough shots, but one of them's down. Are they both down? Could this be it? In fact, it is. Don't sleep on Singapore. The gates are closing. They're going global, and Aerowolf are the champions of the Asia Pacific Pro League.
Truly what you said yesterday, from gatekeepers to gate crashers. Look at them, standing tall, standing proud, from Singapore to Australia to Japan to Montreal.
What a crazy grand final for Aerowolf. I think a fitting final round there as well, boys. That is something insane, and for a team that has toiled for such a long time, they've been around, really, you can trace the journey of this roster since the very beginning of APAC Pro League, and finally taste that success. It must be a beautiful feeling.
And what a moment for Lunametal, the captain, the longest running member, the heart and soul of Aerowolf in a 1 versus 3. Unbelievable that he managed to pull off that clutch.
Yeah, really. He's been there from the start, and he was there for the end. He's going to make this journey come full circle. I told them I wanted to see them at the Invitational in 2018. Want to see them this year? Well, I'm going to see it, well, next year.
So, Aerowolf, very, very big question surrounding how they're going to perform when they do go internationally. I mean, it's been such a long time since we were able to see that as well. And of course, that is a question that we have to ask for Wildcard as well. And I don't think you can be disappointed with this result for the ANZ roster either.
No, not at all. It was only the most recent LAN that they played where they first won a victory at all against an APAC team. Here they've had a revenge tour. They beat Xavier, they beat Cyclops. Aerowolf was a bit of a far cry for them, a bit of a stretch, but they gave them one hell of a fight, almost as much as Aerowolf have had at all so far in this tournament.
Is this something that you've been waiting for a long time for, Infi? I'm sure I can answer that question myself, to be honest. But did you really think that it was possible coming into this weekend? I know that, you know, we've been saying it for a little while. We've been saying they're the gatekeepers. We've been saying that they are a team that has that skill and that ability. But to actually now go and do it, it feels like, you know, they've hit another level.
Yeah, I mean, their headsets are off, so they're gonna hear what I'm saying. And I really did not have faith in them. I can't believe it, because look, so many seasons in a row, 6, 7, 8, 9, every single major qualifier in between as well. They failed, and look at the strides they have made straight to the top of APAC right away. And well, it's incredible to see this journey, and it's very important that they keep it going, because make sure that they're not a one-season wonder.
And it's like you said, Jordan, not only is the curse broken for the gatekeepers, it's also been turned on its head. The ones that always lost to the eventual champions have become those victors themselves.
I mean, it's kind of funny that when you don't lose, you do end up being the champion as well,
no,
right?
I mean, technically they could have won. They could have lost the grand final. They could have made it to the global events. They could have broken that
but
curse.
They still
but
would have
penalized.
lost to the eventual champions, right? If they would have lost this one here in the grand final. I do want to say, though...
I can't do anything with you, Jordan.
No, you can't. I do want to say, though, for both of these two teams, I mean, it's a fantastic result, phenomenal result. I want to ask the question, though, as well. You know, we've been talking a lot about Mentalist and what his intentions were after this APAC finals. At least from what I heard, the intention was to stop playing, to retire after these finals. But now, you know, that is probably out the window. You've got a lot more to focus on. This is an opportunity, surely, that you can't throw away.
Well, only Mentalist knows what is going on inside of his life, inside of his head. But yeah, I was talking to him after they qualified, and he said, yes, I have a lot of things to tell about my future, but not quite yet. So yeah, the plan was stop playing Rainbow Six, focus on his studies, because he's been having a very hard time with his mental and physical health, trying to balance the two. The Singaporean education system, guys, is no joke at all. So that's a really, really tough ask for him and for the rest of Aerowolf as well. Now, Jordan, standing behind them the whole match, every single game this weekend, he was slated to come in for Mentalist, but maybe we might see something different, because Aerowolf are not out of the woods in terms of the roster yet, even if Mentalist stays, because the other big thing is called National Service, and Hysterics, he's enlisting in January.
Yeah, certainly something that we are going to keep an eye on, and it's really only a question that Aerowolf can answer. We will get some questions to them in a moment, but for now, let's just quickly take a look back at the bracket, and this is how things did pan out. 2-0, the champions of APAC for Season 10, Aerowolf, and that is definitely not something I would have thought I was going to be saying on Friday night.
No, and I think a lot of people would have laughed you out of the room. On Twitter, there was a lot of people saying, Norango, Fnatic, they're the ones to watch out for. There was a great tweet which said, I can't believe Fnatic, Cloud9 and Norango are all on the same side of the bracket.
I wonder who sent that out.
And now have a look at this. It's Aerowolf who went the full distance and closed out the championship as well. This is a huge moment for them.
One thing I have to say about Wildcard, though, they gave them a crazy fight. The only people to give them a closer fight this series was Fnatic, and well, not by much as well, because the demolition job that they did on Clubhouse, it was crazy good, and on Villa as well, they did it better than Norango could.
Yeah, well, we've been raising a lot of questions for Aerowolf here on the desk. I'm sure Danny Kim on the stage has quite a lot of questions for Aerowolf as well.
Thank you very much, Jordan. And of course, I'm here with Mentalist from Aerowolf, and I have to ask you, it's been a long journey, but #1 in APAC. No one can take that away from you now. How does it feel?
Yeah, I can do. Oh no, sorry. Okay. Honestly, coming to this, I didn't even expect to win against Fnatic. So, winning the whole thing, I still feel like I'm in a dream right now, and I think it's gonna take some time for me to fully process what we just achieved. So yeah, I'm really excited and like really happy that we did this. Especially this is probably like one of my last season.
You hold on to that. So now, obviously, yesterday you were very emotional. I have to ask you about that. Was Fnatic, that win was very important to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we didn't expect to win against Fnatic. So a running joke within our team was that we're just gonna lose against Fnatic and watch Joker, and that's and unfortunately that didn't happen.
Did you watch Joker even if you won?
No. Unfortunately.
And finally, I'm a bit thrown off here with my hands are like. No, it's okay. You're good at this, by the way. If you stop and you can come back and you do this, not in Australia, but in Singapore.
Oh, that'll be pretty exciting, yeah.
But finally, of course, you obviously study your SEA opponents and your APAC opponents. Now you're on the global stage. How much do you know about the teams you might be facing?
We actually study NAEU teams quite a lot, in that like we do watch their VODs and we take like strats out of their book to try to improvise into our own kind of playstyle. So yeah, coming into like in actual international competition will not be a completely new world for us. We have studied them before, so we will know what we're up against. But one thing we might lack is the actual playing experience against NAU teams. That play style will vastly differ, and yeah, that's something we have to work on.
All right, so I was meant to, they have the global seeding sort of thing now. You're really good at this, so do you want to throw back to Jordan and talk about the global seeding? Take it away.
All right, Jordan, bring it back to you.
Thank you so much. Wow. That is certainly something else. Certainly something else. Definitely a unique grand finalist interview. But great job, of course, to Aerowolf. And as has been alluded to on the stage there, we do have our global seeding show prepared for you. Now, you may be noticing some jugs here that Infian is so delicately fondling. Now, what's going to go on here is that we are going to be drawing the bracket for the global finals, which is, of course, very, very important. So I just want to break it down for you guys as to how this is going to work, although I'm sure everyone has seen one of these before. What is going to happen is Infian is going to draw each of those 4 balls in the yellow side of things. Those are our Seed 1 teams. We're going to put them into a bracket in the order that he draws them. And then Dev is going to have the opportunity to draw the Seed 2 teams there after that. And we are going to find out what our matches are going to look like. Now, before we get into that, though, I will have to remind everyone that you cannot have the same region play against each other in the quarterfinals. So if we do draw 2 teams from the same region in that same area of the bracket, it's going to be a little bit of moving and shaking to get going on. Hopefully, that's not going to be the case, but we'll try and figure it out as we go. So Infian, let's get this one underway and look for our first Seed 1 team. If you will, choose a ball for me. That would be lovely.
I bet it's going to be Aerowolf.
I have a feeling it is. No, I can't quite tell. Well, let's see who it is. Our first one, well, Dev, you're right on the money. Our APAC champions, Aerowolf.
What do I need to say about Aerowolf? Even we have talked about them non-stop. Mentalist, you've heard from him, you've heard from Glenn as well. The APAC champions for a long time. It has been us waiting for them to make a return to the global stage, and they will do it at the top of the brackets.
Yeah, certainly a deserved champion as well, and I'm excited to see who else is going to be joining them on the top side of the bracket, Infian, if you will. Look at him go.
Right.
He's practiced this before.
We have done a lot of practice. We
Well,
don't want to mess this up.
We needed to make sure that you didn't drop the vase again.
I thought you were going to say drop the ball, and then it was like, it actually made sense. Let's have a look. It is Dark Zero Esports, the first C team out of North America, who have had a fantastically dominant season online. They're yet to really prove themselves at an offline finals event, but this could certainly be the moment for North America.
Yeah, so APAC and North America in the top side of the bracket. Let's see who will start things off on the bottom side of the bracket here. Remember, these are all our Seed 1 teams. Dev's got the Seed 2 teams to follow once we pick all of these 4. So who will it be?
Oh, well, it is Ninjas in Pajamas from Latin America.
The Latin American first seed team, similar to Dark Zero, have had a really good online season, but haven't performed very well at LAN recently. This will be the first LAN event that they have participated in quite some time. Many, many moons ago, about 2 years ago, I believe, they actually made it to the grand final and lost out to a team
Season
now
4.
known as Sisu.
Yeah,
Many moons ago.
There has been a lot of crazy results in the APAC, and I'm sure throughout the rest of the world as well. So we'll see whether or not that's going to continue into the global finals. One more team to draw out of Seed 1, and we all know which region that's going to be coming from, of
Now,
course.
don't crucify me, because I believe the correct pronunciation is Natus Winkere, but we know them much better as Na'Vi from EU, #1.
That's right. They came into the Pro League this very season after dominating the Challenger League, picked up by Na'Vi. They've been only just actually made it to the European first seed spot. G2 and Empire were also gunning for that, but didn't quite cut it. So that's Na'Vi.
All right, Dev, this is where the fun begins. We get to find out what our matches are actually going to be. So I will ask you to draw the first ball from your jug, and Infian is going to give us the breakdown of each team as we progress on forward here. So let's see which team it will be facing Aerowolf. Now remember, it cannot be an APAC team. So if this is the APAC team, they'll drop back down to face Dark Zero Esports.
It is Giants Gaming, the second seed team from the European Pro League.
Now, Giants Gaming, some people might say they are somewhat underwhelming on LAN, but ever since they've brought on Corey, since they've become Giants Gaming, or Vodafone Giants as some people call them, they are really a force to be reckoned with, and Aerowolf will do very well not to underestimate them, and vice versa, as we've seen this weekend.
Yeah, certainly. That's going to be a pretty cool match to kick things off in the quarterfinal, though. We still need to find out what else is going to be going on in the top side of the bracket. Dark Zero Esports, who will they face? As Dev will choose for us.
Second team from the second seed to face Dark Zero Esports at Tokoname is FaZe Clan, the second seed team from Latin America.
That is going to be an exciting matchup. Dark Zero Esports, they've not really had the best of lands, as you said. But FaZe Clan also, since Season 8, when they thought the grand final map order was ban pick, they kind of lost it against G2 because of that. Let's see what they can do this season against Dark Zero in their opener.
Indeed, going to be a good one. Now, we have two left to choose, Dev. An APAC and a North American team to face a Latin American and a European team. So, who is going to be going up against NIP from Latin America?
To face NIP in the quarterfinals is the North American second seed team, Team Reciprocity.
Oh, that is going to be a tough one. Now, Team Reciprocity only very recently beat out Evil Geniuses to that second spot. And really, what a great challenge it has been. And Skies and Laxing, the dynamic duo, they're going to give Ninjas in Pajamas one heck of a time because, as you said, NIP need some climbing back to the top as well.
Well, we have one ball left, Dev. Might as well bring it out and let us know who that is, although I'm sure we can all take a guess.
You want to place any bets, Jordan?
I don't know. I mean, who?
Who could it be?
I forgot the name.
Has to surely be someone from
August?
APAC.
I bet you it's just going to be a wild card. Let's have a look at the team to face Na'Vi. It is Wildcard Gaming from ANZ from APAC to face Na'Vi in the quarters.
So that's worked out perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Just a reverse order from what we drew the Seed 1 teams in. And really, do you need to know anything more about Wildcard Gaming than what you've already seen today?
I'm sure that Na'Vi do.
Uh,
I'm sure Na'Vi want to.
I'm sure the rest of the casters and everyone doing prep also does.
And there's definitely a lot of prep that's going to need to be put in by not only the teams that we've seen here in APAC, but for example, Na'Vi, going to be starting to take a look at some of those wildcard VODs, I'm sure. Now we have seen, though, our 4 matches that we're going to be getting from the global finals. Is there anything that sort of jumps out for you there, boys? I mean, I know we'll bring it up in just a second, so you can get a bit of a refresher here. Infian, you look like you're jumping at the heels to say something here. So what have you got on your mind?
So at the Allied Esports Minor, Aerowolf and Dark Zero Esports faced each other in the best-of-1 series. Now, Dark Zero Esports won that out 8-7, but it was a very back-and-forth system. We didn't see that matchup, live. There's a VOD of it available. So now those two guys on the same side of the bracket, if they get a rematch, it's going to be very, very exciting.
Now, touching on Dark Zero, it is a rematch for them to get revenge against FaZe Clan, who knocked them out of the Raleigh Major. An opportunity for a rematch there, and I believe the only rematch in this bracket, I might be wrong, not sure if NIP and Reciprocity have played before just yet, but I'm always going to be looking at those APAC teams, seeing if Wildcard can give a fight to Na'Vi, recently promoted from Challenge League, whether Aerowolf can take it to Giants. It is an APAC versus EU and a battle of the Americas here at Tokoname.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that as well. I'll say it's in our region, right? In Japan, in APAC. It's always going to be exciting for the first time to have a global finals in Japan. A lot of big games, though, coming out there, and I've heard on the grapevine, I've seen some stats around the place that more than half of these teams are new teams, or at least not returning from last season. So that as well is going to throw a nice curveball for us when we take a look at the global finals.
Well, no matter what, we will crown a new Pro League champion in Season 10. Not a single one of these teams has ever won a Pro League. Mind you, not any one of these teams has ever won a major either. So we will be crowning a new champion for Rainbow Six. And a lot of these teams, as you said, it is their first time at a Pro League finals as well.
I'll give you some final words here, Infian. This is your last chance to show us what you've got when it comes to these global finals.
Well, global finals are always an exciting time. You see a clash of many different metas. It's going to be in Asia Pacific in Tokoname, so please don't miss it. The tickets are sold out, but you can tune in right now as you are on your screens. Catch all the action. Support our local boys, Aerowolf and Wildcard Gaming.
Yeah, you might have done a better close than I can, Infian. Let's find out, though, as we are going to close the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rainbow Six Pro League APAC Season 10 final. That is all from us here today, but there is still more Rainbow Six coming up later on in the year. Of course, that's the Global Finals in Tokoname. Until then, see you later.